Hey everybody, Coach Stacy Lynn here. So I want to welcome you to the channel and ask that you hit subscribe if you feel like something I say today will help you. So here's the deal. I am going to share with you a story, and then I'm going to share with you what people usually do versus what I did. And then you can tell me if I'm evil or not. All right? Okay. So here's the story. Recently, I had somebody in my community that I respect put out a plea for help for a situation for a person with cancer. So they were selling t-shirts in particular. Okay. And because I don't know the person that has cancer, but I trust the person that put out the plea, I went ahead and I bought a t-shirt because I wanted to support the cause. I understand what it's like for somebody to have cancer. My mom died of cancer years ago, so I had no problem with that. The problem is that t-shirt was ordered in September, and here it is January, and I still do not have that t-shirt. Well, I found out a couple days ago when I got my hair cut. Notice it's shorter, people? Yeah, it is. Anyway, I found out a couple days ago that the people who made the t-shirts, they have had them, but they have made zero effort to get them to the people that bought them to support the person. So what would you do? What would you do? I'll tell you what most people will do. Most people will look at that situation and go, oh, whatever, it's okay. It was only a few bucks. And, that family is going through a difficult time. And so they can just get away with it. Well, I talked to the person that put the plea out, and they admitted to me that it wasn't a good thing. That this was not acceptable. There was a lot of people who were waiting for their shirt, and they weren't getting their shirt. And so she gave me the info I needed to get directly in touch with some of the people that actually have the shirt. So I call the people up. Don't get a response. And so I thought about it. And I thought, what would Coach Stacy Lynn share with you if you came to me with this situation? Because you have done something out of the kindness of your heart to bless somebody who's in a serious medical situation, right? You're not lacking compassion. You actually moved out of compassion because you wanted to support this person. So the issue isn't your motive, right? The issue isn't your heart being bad because you gave literally out of the kindness of your heart. And actually, in my case, I gave out of the kindness of my heart and didn't even know the person, and did it because I love the person that brought it up, right? So who wouldn't want to support somebody who's going through such a bad health issue? That isn't the issue. The issue is the guilt that you would feel if you wanted to get your product or your money back because of that situation. And this is where most people struggle, especially if you're high in compassion on my equipping profile chart that I talk about. If you're a 9 or a 7 or an 8 on compassion, then generally you are somebody you're moved by compassion, just like Jesus was. So you see a situation and you want to help. But the problem is the people that you're trying to help are treating you like garbage. They're dismissing you. They're not even thanking you for the support. And they're withholding the product that you bought to support them. So the question is, what do you do? What do you do? Do you let them get away with it because the person that they're trying to help is sick? Or do you stand up for yourself and say, hey, you know what? I know that you're doing this to a lot of people. Let's just say, for sake of argument, and I happen to know they sold well over 100 shirts. Okay. So at a cost of, I don't know, $20 or something, that money, that's a lot of money, right? And it's a lot of product, and it's a lot of people that didn't get what they were promised. So what would you do? what would you do? Do you want to let them get away with it? Or do you just want to go, whatever, I don't need it. And, $20 isn't that much because after all, that person's got cancer. What would you do? So if you're like most people, you're just going to go, it's not worth it. I did it to support the person and, it's really not a hill to die on, right? The problem with that, however, is you enable people to be abusive and you enable people to not take responsibility and you enable people to actually commit fraud. Because that's what it is. When somebody tells you to donate a certain amount of money and this is what you're going to get, this is what you're promised, and then you're not delivered it, that's fraud. And if you pay through a online service like PayPal or Venmo or something like that, you actually have grounds to go to those providers and request your money back because that person didn't give you the goods that you paid for, regardless of what it's for, right? So what I decided to do was message the person and just ask for my money back because it's been 5 months. 5 months, almost a half a year. And I'm going to be honest, that was hard for me to do because of, quote, how it makes me look, right? And you see how when you're in an abusive situation, you being the empathetic, compassionate one, care about how it makes you look. It's really not about how it makes me look. It's about how that person has treated you and flipped it on you. It's not about how bad they look, right? And this is the issue, right? Because it's so subtle, and people who are high in compassion and they're very expressive and they love people, that's where they get in relationship problems because it's like, well, I don't want to do that because then this will happen. But if you don't stand up to somebody who is taking advantage of you, if you don't stand up and defend your right to get what you paid for, then you let that person continue to rip off other people or abuse other people. So, and that's where it's difficult because there are a lot of people out there who frankly don't care how you feel. And so I went ahead, I put in a request for this money, and within an hour I got a response and they gave me my money back. And I responded and I said, look, it's been 5 months. You just shared with me you went on vacation and you've done this other stuff. I understand what cancer is like. My mom died of cancer. So thank you for the refund. And you know what they said? Nothing. They said nothing. And you know what? You know what that says? That they didn't say anything? It actually says two things. Number one, they realized, you know what? This person has had enough. And you know what? If I don't get these shirts out to other people, I might have to give the money back, which is therefore going to take money away from this person who the money is supposed to go to. Because there is a principle here. And the principle is that you respect people and you don't allow the use of manipulation with money to overshadow that, right? Because it's not about money, it's about the person. And so what these family members did was basically hurt the other person that they were trying to support because they didn't deliver what they promised. And they didn't even really have a good excuse. That's the part that blew me away. I'm like, what's your excuse? And I found this out from my friend when she told me, oh yeah, they have a whole stack of shirts and they haven't delivered them yet. I'm like, okay, so they took all this money in, but they have the goods and they're not delivering it. So that's not cool. That's not cool. So I share this story with you because fraud is everywhere. And it is especially common when people have situations like this. And this person probably didn't like that I called it fraud, but that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's like, you told me that you were going to give me this product. I paid for it, and it's been 5 months, and I don't have it. So, to this person's credit, they did offer to send me my shirt. And I just said no, because I know that if they did, then it would have cost them money to do so. And I'm not out to be vindictive. I was just out to get what I paid for. So, what would you have done in this situation? Would you have let it go? I bet you most of you would. And I'll say that because most people would. And that's how people get away with stealing from other people. And they do it under the guise of compassion without caring about the people who were offering compassion to them. And they know that. They can play on your heartstrings by doing that. But the problem is so many people do it, and then you get mad, and then you feel guilty because you wanted what you paid for. Many years ago, my husband had a situation where he donated some money for a Christian artist. It was a Christian no-name artist who was producing a CD. And in exchange for a couple $100, they would have gotten to see them in studio and do this other stuff, and actually gotten a copy of the CD. Well, something happened to that artist, and something happened. They got sick or something. And my husband lost all of the money that was put towards that thing. He never got a refund on anything. He didn't get anything he was promised. And to this day, he remembers it. And it shouldn't be that way, especially if you're a Christian. You know, Jesus says to treat one another how you would be treated. And you cannot show me anywhere in Scripture where Jesus treated people wrong. You know, he was moved with compassion. You know, he didn't say, hey, I'm going to do this for you, just as an example. Jesus didn't go, hey, dudes, I'm going to die for you, just so you know. And as a result, I'm going to, initially I'm going to tell you, I'm going to die for your sin, and then I'm going to let you into heaven. But you know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to die for your sin, and I'm not going to let you into heaven. You know why? Because you didn't treat me good. You didn't promote me great. Jesus would never do that. He was a man of his word, and he is a God of his word. But he was moved with compassion, and he held people accountable for their behavior. Today, people don't like to hold anybody accountable for their behavior because they're afraid that they'll look bad, right? How dare you? How dare you ask for your money back because you didn't get your shirt? It's like that. Well, how dare you take money from me and not give me my shirt? That's the issue. It's not the emotive circumstance around the issue. It's actually, here's the issue, right? So today I want to share that with you, and I want to encourage you to be bold enough to stand up for yourself. Don't care about that other person and their feelings when they are lying to you and stealing from you if you're in a situation like that, because that's exactly what it is, people. And they're playing on your heart. They're manipulating your heart. They're discounting how you feel. They're not even caring about how you feel. Especially in this situation, they don't care that all these people are waiting for their shirt. They have the money. But what these people don't know is, for me, not only did I donate to this cause for the shirt, but because of what the shirt said on it, I was going to send this shirt to a friend of mine with the same name, and I was going to bless that person with this shirt who was going through a similar situation, and I can't now, because I don't have it, because they didn't send it in time, and something already happened to my friend where that could have been a benefit 4 months ago. So they didn't care about me or the fact that I gave to their cause, and they didn't even look at me as a person. They treated me like an object. And you have to ask yourself, when somebody is not treating you properly, are they treating you as a person, or are they looking at you as an object? Because if they're treating you as a person, then they will care about your feelings. If they're treating you as an object, then they don't give a crap about your feelings. And that isn't what we're supposed to be doing as Christians. So today, I want you to consider that. And I would love to hear if you can relate to this story. And if so, tell me why and what happened in the comment. And I hope you have a better day.